Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this webcast. There is a small delay between our broadcast and what you're receiving. For that reason, if you'd like to join the chat, ask a question, please just type that into the live chat on the YouTube meeting. I am monitoring that in real time, so I'll get your question as soon as that's available. We're just waiting as well for 10 o'clock sharp. We'll start the webinar, and for anybody else to join in the interim. Just a reminder, we'll be starting in about a minute or so. Officially, the webinar starts at 10. We'll just give everybody else a chance to join. I see Victor Mackenzie. Most welcome from Botswana. Nice to have you along. Right, it's reached 10 o'clock on my side, so welcome to the webinar. Robin Anderson from Port Elizabeth as well. Very welcome to you. So we're going to deal today with a topic that is in development on my side, but that I thought I'd like to share with everybody that is also using the Autodesk Construction Cloud, and that has to do with the Autodesk Construction Cloud Template Creation. It is, of course, a very important part of our work to set up a new project, and it can be daunting depending on circumstances. So on our agenda today is to start with an ACC project to see if we can start a template from that, to create the template from that, and then to make sure that all the modules are active. And then we'll go through a demonstration of how to actually do that. So starting off with the project, okay, so beginning an ACC template from an existing project is a good idea. That is in my experience. Not everything that is possible in a project can be replicated in a template, so you have to have some foreknowledge of how the template is going to behave. That you will get experience with watching a webinar like this one, or reading up on it, or just from experience. Permissions cannot be managed per person in a template. That is a very important thing. So many of us, when we start working with Autodesk Construction Cloud, we would use individuals to manage permissions with, and that can be troublesome. For that reason, when you plan to develop the template from a project, test the permission structure using custom roles. So again, start with a project, use custom roles, and then custom roles allow for more nuanced and targeted permission structure in any case. That is true, depending on the complexity of the project, and we'll talk a little bit around that. The specifications cannot be created in a template yet. That is, to my mind, quite a weakness, but there might be a way around that. I'm still testing that, and I'd like to introduce you to that idea. And there is also an ideas page where you can go and vote for ideas. That is the way that we give feedback to Autodesk democratically, to go and say, we'd like to have our specifications included in our template structure. Please, can you do that? And that would, of course, help us to develop that over time. One workaround would be to create a project that lists specifications exclusively, and then to maintain the specification revisions on a read and download basis only. be careful to name the revisions correctly because projects are time sensitive. So where might that come into play? Something like your South African building standards. Maybe they another standard for your industry that is released by the South African Bureau of Standards or South African National Standards, and from year to year they might do a revision, 1 or 2 extra clauses, maybe a few amendments, and we'd like to keep track of that. So every year when we start a project, we would like to refer everybody to the relevant standards and say, those are the standards or specifications that you have to work according to. Please go and have a look over there. We can't yet include that in a template as is. So with that, let's jump onto our Autodesk Construction Cloud. Many of you will be familiar with the Autodesk Construction Cloud. It is a common data environment. We've migrated from the old BIM 360 to ACC, what we call ACC, Autodesk Construction Cloud, under Andrew Adagnost's direction at Autodesk. A lot of R&D has gone into this to make it a common data environment, so all the databases are connected. However, there is no formalized structure according to which Autodesk envisions us working, so we have to set up that structure ourselves. This is a structure that I've envisioned for micrographics, working among other projects. So there's a certain folder structure and a naming structure that is also applied to the folder structure. Now, that is open to interpretation, but I'd like to show that to you anyway, that there is quite a complicated folder structure. And if you just had to create a new project like this, you could of course recreate that folder structure on your Autodesk desktop app and synchronize it up to the cloud, but then your permission structures wouldn't be there. You can see there's quite a few task themes over here, and inside of the task themes you might have your individual companies that are going to collaborate on that project. So you might have a few different architects, a few different land surveyors, and different people involved in the project. If it's a large project, you have lots of different disciplines that are getting involved, from a work in progress standpoint, from a sharing standpoint. Those of you that's got Collaborate Pro, you might recognize that sort of folder structure. And then we've got something that we call specifications. It's relatively new, so those of you that haven't come into contact with specifications yet, that is quite a useful thing to do, where you can go and set out your specifications for your project. There's reviews and review worksets. So reviews are very, very popular, and what we do with them is we submit for a specific reason. We would submit a review. It's permission based, and we would like to understand how that works within our template. All right, so there's a bunch of stuff in docs. You can see there's files, so just make a mental note of it: files, specifications, reviews, transmittals, issues, reports, members, bridges, and settings. And then for those of you with other licenses, there's also design collaboration, which includes your teams. So this is where you would set up your teams that are operating on your project. And the only reason I'm showing this to you is because I'd like to compare what is the difference between a project and a template. All right, so again, you can see on the design collaboration, there's some active items, home, issues, project status, changes, meetings, correspondence, reports, members, bridges, etc. We've got model coordination, we've got takeoff for those that use that, we've got build, also quite a complicated one. There's quite a lot of things that happens within build, quite a lot of these, and also within cost management. Now, cost management could take an enormous amount of time to set up. You can see when you buy into more of the modules, more of the packages, there's a lot more that you can do with the project on the cloud, and some of our clients are adopting these capabilities, so it's going to be quite exciting and interesting. And that is, of course, now, if we have more than just our docs license, we've got multiple licenses. We would like to start out our template without having too much work to do setting it up from scratch again. So with that, those of us who are account managers, for not Autodesk account managers, rather the hub account managers, we are able to go into something that we call account admin. And account administration allows us to see project templates and to create top project templates from an existing project. So we might choose to create a project template I'll demonstrate that. You can create a project template. You can create it either from a blank, or you can say create a template from an existing project, which is what I will do at the moment. I'm going to use a naming structure there, PS, ACTT, and then today's date and 01. That's just something that I've adopted recently to separate myself from my colleagues. It's not really necessary to say it's a project, but I do it anyway. Zero 0606 today. And it's the first time that I'm creating a template for today. And then the project that I'm going to choose is the FX01XA, which I've just shown you. And creating the template is then simply a matter of saying create template. So if you're an account admin, that is what you can do. And initially this might seem a bit strange to you. You can see over here that we've got different controls now. We're still in project admin. We've got a configuration tab, we've got a members tab, and we've got a notification tab. On the members tab, we can now add users. I would recommend that you can, if you yourself are the project admin, you've of course got everybody available to you there. But you can search for your users and you can add them. I'm just going to add some of the micrographics guys so they can collaborate with me on this. This is our micrographics AEC team. The three of us are working on the architectural, engineering and construction side. The company we can assign from account admin. I can just say that they are from micrographics cloud. The role, the default, I'm going to give them as project generic. So you might recognize some of these roles and some of them not. And that is because I've taken, because of the way the templates are set up, I'm actually managing every permission that I can per role. And some of those are custom roles. And that's what you see there. What access level do I want them to have? Well, in this case, I want them to have project admin. I want them to have full control so they can help me set up this template. And the product access, I'm going to give them access to everything that we've got access to. So the reason for that is I would be very hard pressed to do this template on my own. So I'd like my colleagues to come and help me set up this project, delegate, as well as accept delegation from somebody else or collaborate basically on these templates to try and set them up faster. So add project members. They will then be invited. What they'll see on their side, let me quickly refresh this, is on their normal docs controls, if they want to open a template, they've got their projects, real-time projects that they might be working on, and then we've got templates. And on the templates there, we've got our template that we've just created, 060601. So far, so good. We've invited them. That's the members. If you want to edit one of them, you'll click on one of them, and you can then add or remove from them. You can add more roles if you want. So you might have project administrator. So it behaves, if you're familiar with setting up a project, just like a project. And there we've added them. Right. We also got access to notifications, where we can set how often, when something's done on the project, how often do we get notifications. So if you are testing the cloud and you do something and you're expecting an email to come through and the email doesn't come through, it's probably got to do with the fact that you're not getting your notifications instantly. It can be overwhelming when you get a lot of notifications coming through all the time. What I do is I route the communications through a filter in Outlook into a project-specific project, and then I don't get overwhelmed by messages from different projects, even though I am subscribed to them. That's the basic setup of what a template looks like. Now, most people will think like I did when I started. I thought, well, wow, okay, now what does this look like when I create a new template? This is now my template creation. And of course I would be wrong, but let's look at it anyway. Right? So let me just refresh and go back to project admin. A very interesting thing that I learned the other day, just an FYI, is if you are a project member and somebody makes you a project admin and gives you the permission to create a project, from then onwards you can actually just go to your home, even though you're not a project admin anymore. They can revoke you the project admin status, and from your home tab you will be allowed to create a project. So the thinking behind that would be is that you've got colleagues and you wouldn't want them to be able to create the projects from the account admin. You don't want them as account admins, but you want them to create projects. And so they would be allowed to create projects even though they're not account admin. So when you create a template, if you have users that you're managing as the account admin and you want them to be able to create their own projects, but you don't want them to be account admin, you can assign them admin rights, maybe have them in your office to make sure that they don't do anything that they shouldn't. Assign them admin rights, then revoke the admin rights. And then they'll be able to create the projects after they've initially created a project with you in the office with them, or however you want to manage that, maybe remotely, you trust them. Then you can say, all right, you can still create projects, it's just that you're not account admin anymore. When you create a project, you'll be able to select a project name. I'm just going to call that test. Template 0606. Let's put in the full name, PS underscore ACC T underscore 0606 01. So I'd just like to test the 2024. I'd just like to test the template, and count is going to be micrographics cloud. The project type is just going to be a demonstration project. Everything else I can leave blank, and I'll say create project. Now you might think that everything is going to be available for us within this project. Let me quickly switch on all this. I'm of course now project admin, so I can do anything in this project. All my licenses switched on. The roles not applicable at this moment because I am project admin. And if I go through into the docs module, I can see that it would have replicated the folder structure within my project. I'll just wait for this. We have a quick look at this. There's the project files. Whoops, where's the projects? Nothing. Everything else is empty. So pretty much this now was a failure because nothing came along, not even my folder structure. Okay, so there's a trick to this. It's not really a trick, it's just you have to know about this. When you work with your template, there's something else that you have to do as well. Right? So on your project templates, I'm going to go to the 060601. Okay, we can see we've still got our members. And the notifications, everything else, but, and this is what people forget, when you click on the module over here which says project admin, it's literally behaving like a project. So you've also got to go to Docs. There's Docs. And when you click on Docs, now recognizes that you have files in there. So you've got your details. You can publish the template if you want. But for the moment, we're working on that. And you've got permissions on the docs. Okay, so now how does this work now? We've got add template members as well, right? So here we would add the people that are going to be part of our project, the default project members, not the default template members. So it's a bit confusing when you look at the name, but again, let's just quickly add our guys, which will be Sean, Christian, I'm already part of that. Maybe I'll add Aldred just for fun. Okay, so there we've got some members to our project now. I want to test some things with Aldred, so I need Aldred on the project. There's the company. That's going to be micrographics. I can pick that obviously from the account admin as well. And the role that we're going to have for everybody as default is going to be project administrator and project generic for now. Okay, just like that. And we'll set it up as we go along. Then we've got the access to the modules, and now they've got also project admin. So these are just the guys that I'm working with for the moment. I want them to have access to everything on this project so they can actually do what they need to do. So here we find our setup over there. Project admin, project generic. Okay, that's fine. And then we go to files. On the files, we would do the same thing that we do with the norm. Oh, look at this. We've got our folder structure now. That's great, right? And also we'll see that we've got settings, attributes. On the attributes, we've got our folder structure. Just looking at GX, you can see we've got everything in there. What about files? There's no files in here. So it emptied out our files for us. Alright, that's interesting. What about something like our resources? So we might have some documentation in here for maybe Revit, or even in standards. So looking at SAN, there's nothing in here. All right. So what the template did is it automatically emptied out everything within the project folder. And the other thing is that your naming structure, so you can see on the original, let's go back to docs. On the original, I've got a naming structure that's been enforced. And if you go to your settings, you can see that there's actually a naming standard. That's not within your template, right? So it's always important to know what is the difference. Oh, and they've improved the naming standard so that you can apply different naming standards to different folders now. So that's great news. So there's limitations to the docs workflow. If you wanted files to be permanently available, so let's look at something like our work in progress under our standards. Let's suppose that there was something here for SAN. Alright, so there's some documentations that I want to take across to that template. Let's see if we can actually share that across to another project. Title, target, bridge projects, my projects. There's a template. I can actually target my only sees the project files folder to copy it across to. Okay, so let's just see how that came across. This is now back to the template. It's not coming through. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to publish that template. I'm going to publish the template and see if that makes a difference. Just refresh this page quickly. Let's try that again. So no, it doesn't want to come across into the template, unfortunately. Okay, so it would be left to us to upload whatever is available there from our computer. Okay, so there's our downloads folder. Let's quickly get these guys down. And then that would be part of our setup that we ask our guys to do. Let's download the source files. We'll quickly extract them after they've downloaded. Just busy downloading now. Let's unzip them. Windows 11 has this exclamation that it brings up every time that you work with a zipped file. These are files that we'd like to work with. Oh, I deleted the wrong one now. Extract all. Okay, there we go. It's very confusing, this exclamation mark, but anyway. So the idea would then be that you can then upload from your hard drive. You'd be able to upload those files into the correct folder. It wasn't available from a bridge, so we couldn't bridge it across, but we will be able to download and upload that from our relevant folder. Upload files from my computer. We're looking at the downloads folder. There's our correct folder. Select all those files and then upload onto our computer. So these files that you're uploading like this, they will be available for your template. Okay, just firing up Revit in the background, because the next obvious question would be, all right, can you put a central folder or a cloud worksheet file into the cloud from scratch as well? Can I use a template, basically? Can I set up a worksheet file that's going to serve as a basis for my architects to use in my template? And of course, we would like to then see, can we initiate a worksheet cloud model on a template? And what happens if we create a new project from it? Does it give it a new identifier, and does it maintain that as a cloud model? Let's just start off with something fresh, new, from, let's just browse to a good old default metric. Let's make a quick job of it. File save as. I'm not going to bother to follow a naming structure at the moment. File save as. Project in. I usually just save it into a temp folder. Save as project 1. Save. Yes. Collaborate in the cloud. Let's see if our project is visible to us. Well, our template, not our project. Save the cloud model into Micrographics Cloud. There's our template. Project files, work in progress, architect, eggs, AB, eggs, FX1. That's what I want to save. It's initiating a cloud shared work model to the template. It's not a project, it's a template. We'll just wait for that to conclude quickly. It's an empty file, so it won't take long to establish itself. It's creating the cache on the cloud, it's creating the cache on the computer. And that's now available for you to work for. Okay, so let's just synchronize. It's already synchronized, it's already published, so it's up there. All right, so we can see that this is now, again, our template. And in the template, we've just uploaded some files into the South African National Standards Library. And over there, we've got the architectural work in progress folder, and there is a cloud worksheet model that's available up there. So the question is, how do these behave in a new project? So as far as docs is concerned, I just want to quickly have a look at the reviews. So one of the things about the reviews when you create review workflows is that you want to initiate that and approve that via Teams. So via custom roles, right? So currently you can see there's nobody assigned to KXFX1. There's 0 people there. So if you see that count, that's just a count. It's not part of the name. It's just 0 people. That's part of KXFX1. And there's 0 people that is ZSSAN. So if I just take a screenshot of that quick, we can just show that were we to go with the template creation, and we just go back to our members on the project admin side of things, and we say add a few people to, we would obviously want people from the relevant teams there. We just add the custom role. The custom roles you can create via your, if you don't know that, the custom roles you can create via your account admin. On the account admin, you've got the ability to create custom roles. So there's your roles. You can create roles if you want. Alright, so just for Christian, let's quickly add ZSAN, and let's also add KXFX1. So there is a methodology behind the role naming, which I don't want to focus on during this webinar, but if you do have questions or queries, you're welcome to email us as well. Christian is now part of that. Myself, you can also search for roles. So if you search, say, for zs.san, you can find it easier. There's myself, search. Accept that. Right. And KXFX1. FX1. Alright. So just then going back to the docs side of things and having a look at the reviews. If you look at SAN A5, which I think was the first one that we opened, just refresh this. It's still not picking up. Team ZS.san, yes, they are in there. That's the project members. Picks it up here as well. Let's go back to docs, to reviews. Okay, so I can't actually explain this at the moment. Why is it not picking up the numbering there? Okay, but it won't allow you to add individuals to the permissions there. And then we've also got issues. Where you can set the types, fields, root causes, templates, and statuses, just as a normal project. So that's what's available in docs. And then remember, you can also go through to design collaboration. And then very importantly over there, there's permissions, add the template members. Yeah, that's good. And then also settings. So you go through to the settings. Yeah, you can see that we've actually got teams. We've got teams that we've set up. They're recognized. The shared folder, location. So project settings, DWG file support is on. It just makes it a bit slower and to manage. And there's the project information that we can add. So very much the same, but we've got our teams now set up. Okay, so that's our configuration. We've got takeoff. Just quickly running through the different things that you can see within the modules. Some of you might have these packages. I know some of our clients are using takeoff. Files. build, which is quite a big one, but you'll see, oh look, there's much less here than there is in a actual project. So if you compare what you see on the screen now on the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 different headings, 17 plus the home. And on this side, we've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 maybe. Right? You've got files, issues, forms, RFIs. Those are the things that you can try and set up over here. Nowhere would you have seen submittals. Submittals are not part of this yet. And then a big one also that we're getting into at the moment with one of our clients is cost management. So setting up cost management is notorious. It's a very long process. And getting everything set up in the first place is quite the mission. So having that done within a template, if you're operating with the same guys, that would be help a lot with a project. Setting up all the different standards that you need for your costing as well. So the idea would be then to come into this module one after the other, and then after you've done that, to use this new template. You can see it's taking a while to set up a project. Use this new template to set up a project with instead, not just opening a template and saying this is not my template. You actually have to come into each one of these modules and set up whatever you can, and then work on that from time to time. So what I would suggest you do is start off with a project that's representative of what you want to do, then create a template, and then get you guys involved, build up on that template, and use that template to evolve the project going forward. That way you don't have to set up the project from the template again from scratch the next time that you generate it from an existing project. So do your best with an existing project, set it up as best as what you can, then start a template, and then keep the template live going from there onwards, and just keep on evolving the template. So this is taking quite a while. I'm not used to this taking so long. Just a few more minutes, they say. We'll give it another minute or so, and then we'll interrupt the process. If you are ever wondering if Autodesk Construction Cloud is active, just go and look at the Autodesk Health dashboard. The Autodesk Health dashboard is very interesting. It shows you the Amazon services that are available to you on the health.autodesk.com. And it says there's no outages, there's no production disruptions, and there's no maintenance operations in projects. So everything is operational. We're confident that it isn't a fault on Amazon side. And then you can also check something like your internet connectivity. That's often something that happens in South Africa. If the power goes down, then we might have an internet disruption on our side. We just want to check there. Is that everything good? Yes, we're running at 50 down, 60, 70 down, and let's just check the other direction as well, just to make sure. Hopefully by that time the project would have been run to its completion. There's download, there's upload, so we've got internet, it's not on our side, all right? So it's basically just the Autodesk server that's now running through its setup. Okay, there we go. So it's actually done, and we can then get into setting up everything that we need within our project. Processes, units of measures, and we have to go through everything like this when we set up a template, and that's why it's much easier to keep that template live after that. So start with the project, develop it as best as possible, then create a template and set it up. So that of course is up to you. And then once all of that is done on the configuration, publish that template. The template is published, yes, and then when we create a new project from this template, which we'll do now, let's go back to our home. Just a reminder, just a repetition of what we said earlier. If you've been a project admin once and created the project once, then after that, even if your project admin status is revoked, you will be able to create a project from your home page and the projects, create a project, This time we're just going to name that test 02 PS. I just want to archive these projects when I'm done. We rename and archive them, just get rid of them. ACCT 2024, sorry, 2024 06 _01. So it's the second test. It is a demo. Come on. Oh, the account is Micrographics Cloud. Project type demo. Demonstration. Create project. And then we'll just have a look and see what does that look like. And can we get at that file through our Revit 2015. So there's Storm. Switch on the modules for build cost model coordination. There we go. Roles. We can see that the roles haven't been automatically assigned. That might be an issue. Okay, so not everything is exactly operational like we'd like at the moment, as far as I can see. We also said ZA SAN and KX FX1. So for some other reason that wasn't there. The other members aren't there either. So that's quite strange. I'm just wondering what I did wrong here. Under the project admin, under the members. Huh. Huh. These guys are not there. Let's have a look at our docs. Okay, it's bold. Okay, so this is quite embarrassing. Everything is actually going haywire here. Let's see if we follow the following process then. Go to project templates. Oh, 601. Let's create a project. Okay. So this is not what I am expecting. Right, so with the users, it seems that it does take time to process this template. that's maybe the only guidance that I can give you, is that the file setup is in process. You can see that it's now running through a process from that template that we've used. One of the things that does concern me is the member setup. We'll see if when it's done with this, whether there's actually the members, because this is what it's supposed to behave like. So I suspect you might want to give your template a bit of time just to be established on the cloud. It's not immediate. Maybe give it an hour or so after you've worked on it the last time before you create a project, just to make sure. So, apologies, it's not exactly what we would have expected, but there you can see that it's now busy copying those folders that we need for our file structure. After this, we'll just test it once again from the home page, just to make sure that that's working. Otherwise, it might be a bug on the home page. So, sincere apologies. Right, so over here we can see we've got our work in progress. On the architect side, there's FX1. It's recognizing this project over there, project 1. That's the one that we uploaded there, but it does not recognize it as a cloud workshed model. So you won't be able to establish cloud workshed models, but you will be able to upload Revit files or to have Revit files. It will set the version. Well, this currently is not a cloud workshed file, so you'd still be able to save any version up here, I think. And then with regards to the other files, they should be there as well. There's our standards down here. That would have copied as well. Yes, all right. So at least from a file perspective, we can at least have some files available. I'm just interested to see if the members came through. Now that it actually ran through something like that, do we have members that were, yes, there we go. All right, so the members were also copied through, and we can see that their roles became available as well. All right, so in this case, we actually went to our templates, created a project from the template. It did bring our settings through exactly like we would have wanted it to do. So that's the template that's active. And the next question would be, all right, if we did just go to our home page, give it one more go and see if it works. You should be able to create a project from a template, create a project. In this case, that's going to be 0304 and Micrographics Cloud project type demo. And we must be careful to select the correct template. 0601, all right, create project. And it's hope for the best, and then see if that's active, then we know we've had success. All right, so definitely seems to be something on the home side that you should be creating the project directly from your account admin. Right, so there seems to be a bug in there, unfortunately. So the last thing that I'd like to mention just before we sign off is that there is an ideas page. So you can see, for instance, over here I've got one vote. Some of my other ideas have got many, many votes over the years, but not too many guys are into the administration side of the Autodesk Construction Cloud. And if they are, they're probably too busy to really spend too much time on this. But it is there for voting to include specifications in the template definition. It is something that's important to many clients, is the specifications that they expect their teams to work according to. It's nice to have it on one source of truth. You can say, all right, everybody, there's your specification for South African building standards. If you have any queries, please go and have a look at the specification. You don't waste time having guys having to look it up in the library or find the specification or buy the specification, whatever. Just put it up there, get the guys to read it, and that's as easy as that then. So that's it. In conclusion, you can see how we're operating with templates. We like to start with an existing project, set up the project, test the project, replicate that within a template, keep the template live, and have the template evolve over time. And then obviously if you have any queries or questions, then please also get in touch with us. Let's just quickly run through this. So we've run through everything there. Right. So we would like to invite you to get into contact with us if you do need us with your templates. And if you have any further queries, please don't hesitate to mail us. My personal email is just paul@mgfx.co.za. I see they've just put info there, but you're welcome to contact me live as well. And I hope that you found this interesting. It is also a learning experience for me. Of course, we've only got limited time, but I'm trying my best to share with you the setting up of a template. Maybe that will make you more efficient in your work as well. I'm evolving and the software is evolving, and we're all getting on board the Autodesk Construction Cloud. Many of our clients, myself, assisting them and working alongside them, getting to the one source of truth and doing our projects. So good luck to you. And again, since there are no further questions that I can see coming through, thank you for attending. I appreciate that, Victor and Robin from Port Elizabeth. Thank you very much. Also, you're from Clinkscales, Morgan Brown. You're most welcome. Thank you for having attended, and I hope to hear from you soon. So with that, have a great day further and enjoy the Autodesk Construction Cloud.